Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So today we're going to compare Winstrol versus Tbol. But before we get into that, I have to reiterate that I am not a doctor. Anything I say in these videos is for your entertainment purposes only. I'm not advising nor condoning you to use any of the things that we discuss whatsoever, and what you do with this information is completely and utterly up to you. So, this is a highly requested video. I know there's a ton of interest in both of these, and we're going to do a quick comparison and rundown. There are some similarities here, and there are some differences, as with most comparisons. So, let's talk about some of the strengths of Winstrol here. Winstrol is, as many of you know, a muscle hardener, all right? The thing that differentiates it from something like Anavar is that you're going to get more size, more strength, and for me, more vascularity. Now, Winstrol is actually quite stronger than most people give it credit for, which does end up carrying more side effects. I've discussed Winstrol in detail several times, but just quickly, obviously suppression. Then there's the dryness that comes with it. Well, that dries out your joints and can cause a lot of joint problems. It can be really heavy on hitting on your cholesterol. And then, of course, it's a toxic oral steroid, so aside from cholesterol, it can definitely hit your liver and your blood pressure and things of that nature. But Winstrol is very, very, very strong when it comes to muscle hardening. When you're looking for a polisher or a finisher, you're looking to get ready for a contest, Winstrol, you're going to notice it pop up over and over and over and over again. It is a favorite amongst many. A lot of people can't seem to handle it, but the people that do handle it absolutely love it. Just absolutely love it. Now, when you're looking at Tbol, Tbol is often considered like baby brother of Tbol, so to speak. Now, Winstrol is not going to have any estrogen conversion whatsoever. You're not going to see any with Tbol. They're both going to be very dry. The difference is that Tbol is more used for recomposition than in terms of like cutting or finishing a cycle. Now, you can finish your cycle with Tbol. You definitely can. But it's not going to give you that muscle hardening or same sort of vascularity that Winstrol is going to give you. It will likely end up giving you a little bit more size, although they're going to be close. Tbol is likely going to give you a little bit more in that department in terms of overall size or muscle gain. Winstrol is going to have more vascularity. Strength-wise, like I said, they're going to be very close. It really depends user to user. Tbol should probably give you a little bit more strength, but it's not going to be so noticeable like if you're comparing Anadrol to Anavar, for example, where there's such a wide gap in strength. These are going to be quite similar. So, I mean, when you're really breaking these down, if you're really, because you're nitpicking here, because they're so close. Tbol just slightly more strength, Tbol slightly more size, Winstrol far more muscle hardening, Winstrol far more vascularity. Now, Tbol is also a toxic oral steroid, but I guess if you're looking at side effects, you're not going to get that drying out of the joints. You're not going to have joint issues. It's not going to hit your cholesterol nearly as hard as Winstrol. Now, it's still a toxic oral steroid, so it's still going to affect your liver. It's still going to affect your blood pressure, all right, negatively. Your kidneys, things like that, both are definitely going to cause that a problem. They're both suppressive. Now, Winstrol is a DHT derivative, meaning that it could potentially be, if you're prone to male pattern baldness, it could definitely be, hurtful on your hairline. Whereas Tbol is not a DHT, so it's not going to be likely hard on your hairline. Look, any steroid can cause problems with your hair, but DHTs are definitely something that could nail it far more so than anything else. Now, Tbol could be not quite as dry as Winstrol either. You're not going to have that muscle hardening to anywhere the extent that you do with Winstrol. Tbol would be best suited to kickstart a cycle, where Winstrol would be best suited to finish one, but you can invert those and do either way as well. You can also stack these. Now, if you stack them, you cut the doses in half. Now, trust me when I tell you, I'm not a fan of stacking orals, but this combination is actually quite good. Winstrol's normal dose is 50 milligrams a day, although some people can't quite go that high, and Tbol 60 milligrams a day, both at 6 weeks. Now, Winstrol will come in injectable. I have seen Tbol come injectable as well. Probably not the best idea, considering that you have to pin them so often, and like Winstrol is extremely painful, but it can be done. But let's, for argument's sake, just stick with the orals because they're both not quite as common injectable. Winstrol far more common injectable than Tbol. Tbol is quite rare. So you're looking at 6 weeks either way on both of them. So what you're nitpicking really here. Tbol would be more utilized in recomposition, where Winstrol would be more utilized in cutting, but you can still use them both vice versa, and you could even use both of them during bulking phases because they do help to clean things up a little bit or keep things cleaner in that regard. So they're, like I said, they're quite similar in many regards, but there are some definite differences there between them as well. You're splitting hairs on certain things, but then there's clear cut. Tbol's more based for recomposition, Winstrol more for cutting, and that muscle hardening, obviously, if that's what you're looking for, it's hands down Winstrol. It's not even close. If you're looking for maybe some less side effects but really strong gains, then Tbol's probably the better option for you. So like I said, splitting hairs in certain regards, but then there are clear differences in other ways. It really comes down to what's your goal and how's your tolerability. All right, that's really what it comes down to. So if you've got cholesterol problems, don't go near Winstrol. And you really shouldn't be using any oral steroid to begin with. But if it's Tbol being lighter on that, and if it's something that you're worried about, Winstrol is probably not for you. You're looking more for muscle hardening, you definitely want to go with Winstrol. So that's the comparison. Like I said, we're kind of splitting hairs in a lot of ways, but there are some clear-cut differences. So that being said, www.icearms.com/forums. I'm also on the Elite Fitness Forum as well as the Evolutionary Forum. Dylan@icearms.com is where you can email me with all questions and comments. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So, that being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.